Welcome to the DLLS Rangers Weekly Podcast, now part of the All City Network. Hit the subscribe button for YouTube and also become a DLLS diehard at www.alldlls.com. Now here's Jeff and John. Hey everybody, welcome to the DLLS Rangers Weekly Podcast, part of the DLLS Sports Network, All City Sports Network. Hit the subscribe button down below for this channel or hit DLLS_sports for their YouTube channel where they cover all Dallas sports, the Stars, the Mavericks, the Cowboys, who are all playing right now. And there's only one team in that group that everybody's mad at, and that's the Cowboys and Jerry Jones.
I think there's some worry about the Mavs, though.
Yeah, well, Luka's hurt, right? Did I see that?
He's going to be out for like a week.
Okay, a week. So he sprained his – but they're having some issues too. So, hey, but all your sports coverage, there's a daily podcast there, along with the Daily Rangers podcast that Jeff's on with Abby and John Radigan. And those guys, they're going to be at the winter meetings here in a couple of weeks. I'm going to go out to the winter meetings.
Yeah, I applied for credentials for all of us. So,
okay, so we
ought to be in good shape.
So we're going to be out there and have some fun at the winter meetings where things are starting to heat up. Hey, before we go any further, Jeff and I always like to give each other crap and talk about what's going on and all that. I'm wearing my purple today. I got to tell you about this.
Okay.
So this is, my son goes to Richardson High School in Richardson, Texas. Richardson High School made the playoffs for the first time in 10 years this year in football. And not only that, for the first time in 30 years, they won their first playoff game last week. And they are playing in the second round of the playoffs. And so me and my son, Kevin, he's a senior in high school. And I said, if you ever want to go to a high school football game, again, this is probably going to be your last one because they play the Allen Eagles.
Allen, good.
Okay, so the Richardson Eagles play the Allen Eagles. I can guarantee that the Eagles are going to win tonight, one way or the other, but it doesn't look good for my boys there at Richardson. Hey, they've had an outstanding season. The starting quarterback is a buddy of mine, Robbie Sawyer, that I went to high school with. His son is Lucas is the starting quarterback there, and he's just a junior, so pretty good.
Coming back
next. They got a lot of kids coming back next year.
What kind of quarterback is he? Dual threat?
He's not total dual threat.
Yeah.
He can run, but boy, I tell you what, he can sit. And he's been going to a quarterback coach, and he's been playing quarterback his whole life. He played Little League with my son, but he was a year younger than Kevin because he's just a junior. And he sits in the pocket and throws the ball. And he's got a good arm. Yeah. And I've seen him play 3 times this year just because it's an easy go down the street and go to the ball game. And my son goes, and I like to go watch him. And I tell you what, he's had a couple games where he threw 4 or 5 touchdowns, threw for 300. He's got a little wide receiver that if this kid was about 5 inches taller would go to every Division I school in the country. He's literally about 5'7", 5'8". He's probably got 20 touchdowns.
Oh, wow.
No, he's just out. He punt returns, all that. He still may get something somewhere.
Sure.
Tech does that with guys, finds little guys.
They all do. TCU has a couple.
Yeah, so they get in there. Yeah, like what's the Cowboys punt returner? He's a little guy too, isn't he? The one from TCU.
Yeah, he's
Durham?
Cavante Turpin.
Yeah. And that's another one. Anyway, good luck to Richardson tonight. Robbie, hopefully you'll see you out there tonight. That'll be a good time. I don't think this is probably the last game of the year. Hey, but you know what? If they were to somehow beat Allen Eagles tonight, I think a lot of schools, including Duncanville, my alma mater, would probably go out to Richardson and buy everybody a milkshake or something for doing that. We got it here, though, guys. We're talking about the Texas Rangers. This is episode 12 of the new podcast with DLLS Sports. Today's non-tender day.
It is. Today's the non-tender deadline.
Explain what that means. So there's arbitration eligible guys.
There are players who are arbitration eligible, and you can even do it to pre-arb guys, though it rarely happens. But anyway, they don't have to. The club can decide whether they want to give this guy a contract for 2025.
Okay.
The Rangers have 5 of them who are arbitration eligible. The big one is Nathaniel Lowe, then Dane Dunning, Leody Tavares, Jonah Heim, and Josh Spores.
Okay.
And they aren't first year guys. This is their they're moving into some money areas here.
Right. I think Lowe made $10 million last year, didn't he?
No, he made $7.5.
But that's probably his new number. It's probably going to be close to 10.
Yeah, that's right. That's what they're looking at is $10 million. It's projected 10.5, right around there by MLB trade rumors. And so, it's basically the decision to tender or non-tender comes down to value. A lot of times it is, value versus production based. And and there are some questions, honestly, with the Rangers, all of them except for Jonah. Jonah's a lock.
Yes, so he's going to get.
This is his first year of arbitration. So I'm sorry, it's his second year of arbitration. But he's a lock. He's going to get money. He's going to get. He's
going to get a raise,
probably around $5 million. Okay, that's fine. That's good. You can pay him $5 million. The question comes down to, do you want to pay Nate Lowe 10? Do you want to pay Leote and Dane Dunning between 4 and 5 apiece? Spores will probably, he was hurt so much last year. He's not going to get much of a raise, or he's not projected to. So he'll probably sign for about what he made last year, was just over $1 million. So that's fine.
Right.
All right.
So those are two guys probably locks right there. They'll probably, well, they'll accept. Now, if they don't accept, wait a minute. So if they make the offer, can they then go to a mediation, or is that still part of the system?
Yeah.
If they don't accept
if the Rangers, there's no money on the table right now.
Right. They're just offering, they're going to tender them.
It's like, okay, do we want them or do we don't want them?
Okay.
But they have an idea of what they're going to make in 2025, what they would make.
Okay.
So anyway, whoever gets tendered a contract today, then in the middle of January, or in January, I think it's January 10th, because they're arbitration eligible, they will exchange figures with the club, and what the player thinks he should make, and then the club what he thinks he should make.
Right.
Most of the time, the Rangers, really across baseball, they come to agreements before the deadline.
Last year came close to going to arbitration.
They almost went to arbitration last year with Adolis Garcia.
And then signed a deal for 3-year deal.
It was a 2-year deal.
2-year deal.
So he'll have one more. So he's under contract for this year.
Right.
He's not a non-tender candidate.
But he's a free agent after this year.
No, after this year, he's got one more year.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So anyway, so the question is, 3 questions then become Nathaniel Lowe, Dane Dunning, Leote Taveras.
Okay. Who's the most likely to maybe not get tendered?
I would say Dunning.
Okay, because he's going to make about 4.5, maybe
4
to 5 million.
Yeah. I mean, you can make a case to get rid of all of them, or to keep all of them. The thing Dunning has going for him is that the Rangers, they have some inning flux. Some of their starters,
his value isn't just as in the starting rotation.
A lot of their starters aren't going to be nobody's a 200 inning guy this year, but
right.
Kumar Rocker is not going to throw 150 innings.
No,
neither's
DeGrom.
Jacob DeGrom has a better chance, I think, than Rocker, but still, He's going to be limited too.
You're going to protect
Tyler Malley. Is probably going to be a little bit limited on his innings. So, you have that rotation. That means that going into their starts how many innings they're going to throw. So you're going to need a piggyback guy, and Dane Dunning
may need a couple of those guys,
right? But Dane Dunning would be a good one. And if
Leiter's a guy like that,
if somebody gets hurt, well, all right, Dane Dunning can make a start for you. It could be his intended role in 23 before DeGrom was injured, and then Dane Dunning all of a sudden became a starter and was Rangers Pitcher of the Year, as voted by the media. So,
sure.
So do you want to get rid of your depth? And of course, the projected salaries are not always accurate. A lot of times they sign for less. Like Nathaniel Lowe last year was projected at 8.5, and he signed for 7.5. So,
sure,
there will be some negotiating there.
I'm gonna guess.
I'm gonna guess he gets tendered.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess he will. You're talking about Lowe.
Well, Dunning and Lowe.
I
think they'll all get tendered.
Okay,
I really do. Leote is,
No, this doesn't mean that they can't be traded. They can't be right. So,
I mean, Leote is.
If they don't tender them, they just lose them, or they become free agents. They become free agents. Okay.
Yeah. Leote, great defensive player, super fast. Still developing, I guess, although he might be at this point, what he is offensively is what he is.
Yeah.
But he has some sneaky power.
Mm-hmm.
He just had a bad year. And but the Rangers,
the whole team, look in the mirror. There was
the whole outfield really did. So
yeah,
they value his defense. It is very good. He may become a 4th outfielder, depending on what they do this offseason. But I think he's a championship team would really like to have Leody Taveras on its roster.
The thing with him, and here's the thing, I think they're going to tender him, but whether he stays on this roster or not at $4.5, $5 million, because if he's going to be a fourth outfielder and they do something, another fourth outfielder that's cheap could be someone like Jankowski they could bring back for probably $1.5 million or $2 million.
Yeah, I think Jankowski would be like a fifth outfielder. They need
he'd be a fifth one. Okay.
Yeah. They're gonna,
but Dunning needs to look over his shoulder because they did sign Caleb Bushley yesterday to.
Watch out, boys.
Sorry, we were laughing at that. Look, the Rangers are going to add a lot of depth on minor league.
You're going to see a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, these guys are minor league deals. This guy's coming in. He played for the Twins last year. He's only been in the big leagues just a little bit.
6 1/3 career inning. So.
Yeah, and he's 31. So this is somebody to fill a spot in AAA, and maybe you know what? Hey. Look at what happened to what's his name that came up here and ended up starting for the Rangers a few years back. Who was the journeyman guy and he had that game against God. It's going to drive me
Austin Bibbin Dirk.
That's it. Yeah. Austin Bibbin Dirk, who was 32 or 3 or something like that.
Old. He outdueled Max Scherzer.
Yes, that was
at the Nationals. Yeah, I'll never forget that.
Well, sometimes a change of scenery and a new pitching coach. We know Mike Maddox is very well respected, a good pitching coach, and sometimes they get a hold of him and see something. Maybe change a pitch or two, and all of a sudden this guy's at AAA with a 1.4 ERA.
He's depth.
He's depth.
There's no doubt about it.
So anyway, it was a joke about that. But Dunning has an important role in my opinion. I think, and Dunning on the mound, sure, there are some games where he has gone in. It looks like he's just pitching softball practice and just lobbing them in there. But boy, when he's on, he moves the ball around. He never has thrown hard. It's always sitting around 90. But he moves it around. He's a more of a pitch to contact guy than a strikeout guy. And those guys can play it when you got a guy, you can put him out there, he can go 2 or 3 innings if you need him to. That's some value on a team. I don't care what you say.
Yeah.
I don't care if his ERA is 5. He comes in and eats innings on a game when you need someone to eat innings, even if you're getting rolled. Those guys have value. They just do on any team.
Yeah, definitely. I just don't know that he'll get to the projected number. When push comes to shove.
Well, he didn't last year too. He had the injury, and
he
wasn't up. And he didn't have a great year either.
No,
imagine that someone on the 23 roster that didn't have a fantastic year.
24,
right? Yeah, we're about to be 25, aren't we?
Yeah. So Leody, check. Dunning, we've talked about.
Probably check.
Heim and Spores,
check.
Okay, so then Nathaniel Lowe. All right, Nathaniel Lowe. He's projected to make
10 million.
10.5. Okay. Keep in mind that he did sign for less than $1 million, or $1 million less than his projected number
last year.
This year,
yeah.
So he's got that going for him. Apparently, he just got married on November 18th. So good for him.
He needs a raise. He's got new.
That's right.
He's got to take care of a wife now.
So 10 million. Let's say it's 10 million. If he was a 2.7 WAR player last year. So if one WAR is valued at 5 million and he was 2.7, so we'll do the math. That's like 13.5,
sure.
13 million. I mean, then there's value there.
Right.
You keep in mind he missed the first 22 games of the season, which knocked down probably his home run total and RBI total a little bit. Did not, had a little spring training, but didn't have a full spring training. Finished 9th in the league in on base percentage. Mm-hmm. So he gets on base.
What do you end up in home runs? About 15?
16 home runs.
Okay.
So he probably hits between
full season
18 and 20 if he doesn't miss that those
you can games. Live with that if he's getting on base.
Yeah, the defense
is good.
Was down a little this year, but he's
won a Gold Glove
in 2023, so you feel good about the defense. He admits that he doesn't hit for enough power.
Yep.
Can you work on that? Potentially. He hit 27 home runs in 2022.
He's also added some issues with fastballs.
Fastballs like the rest of the team, but he's always been late on the fastball. So anyway,
sure.
The value's there. I really think the value is there on him. He's a good player. All right. He is a good player. So take a look at the free agent landscape. Can you do better than Nate Lowe? Technically, you can. I mean, would you rather have Nathaniel Lowe as your first baseman or Pete Alonso?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's not an argument,
right? But you're not.
But you're not going to pay.
You're not paying Pete Alonso what
30 million, 25,
whatever it is he's going to get. The Rangers are not going to pay.
No, he's going back to New York.
Paul Goldschmidt,
too old.
A little old. His last 2 seasons, he
could be a DH.
He won the MVP in 2022 in the National League. All right, so that's not long ago. But his last 2 seasons, he's shown decline. Last year was really down.
Could DH.
He is a native Texan.
Yeah, he went to Texas State, didn't he?
Went to Texas State. He's from the Houston area.
Visited that school on college visits.
So there are some things to like, but even then, he's still got the Paul Goldschmidt
name,
and so he could be a let's say he's a 1 year, $18 million.
Okay, plays first base, fill in on a day that maybe you got a tough lefty on the mound. You don't want to put Nate out there against a tough lefty and make it all right.
We're just talking specifically about first.
Sure.
Do you want him to be your first base?
Oh, you're talking about in place of Nate Lowe. Yeah. That's an older guy to
probably
have.
not.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Christian Walker from the Diamondbacks. Christian Walker is 35.
Okay, another older guy.
So he's kind of a late
What's Schmidt,
bloomer.
Close to 40?
He's 37.
Okay.
Goldschmidt's 37. So do we want do we and not me speaking?
You and I are making
do the Rangers want to sign Christian Walker to what probably is going to be a 3 or 4 year deal? So and it's probably going to be it's probably going to be $20 million a year.
Yeah.
I mean, he might have been a better player than Pete Alonso last year.
Right. He's not.
So
that's not it.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the answer either. So internally,
maybe trade.
Internally, you don't have anybody. You don't. Not yet. Justin Foscue's not ready yet. He showed that.
Right.
Abby Ortiz is too young.
You got Krim, but they just
Blaine
don't seem
Krim
to be.
I'd love to see Blaine Krim, of course. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I think Nathaniel Lowe's on the team, and I think there's I think there is a thought that we would like to within the Rangers, we'd like to get move on from Nate Lowe. I think that's a thought with some people, but they also realize he's not bad.
Yeah, who are you going to get? And we're not going to spend the money.
And you're not for the money. We're probably not going to do any better.
Well, the way that they could move on realistically, if they were going to move on with the way they're talking about money wise, is through a trade. And there's some guys that are possibly going to be out there on the trade market. One of them was Ryan Mountcastle from the Orioles, who's basically a right-handed Nate Lowe. He didn't hit as many home runs, but the Orioles got that outfield fence in left field now.
Well, they're fixing that. They're moving it.
They're moving it back in, so they may, because he's only going to projected to make about 6 or 7 this year.
Yeah,
something I saw.
So that's a possibility. Josh Naylor from the Guardians.
It might be on the move.
31 home runs last year, but still didn't have the same WAR as Mr. Lowe. So and he's going into free agency. He's headed to free agency. So are you going to?
Yeah, no.
Trade away. Basically, pay the same, if not a little bit more, for Naylor, but also throw in some prospects.
Yeah,
there's just not the value.
No, that's not going to happen.
So anyway, I think
didn't Ray's first baseman when who is that? That's good God. I had a list of them, and the Rays had somebody that was playing first base that might be on the market too.
Well, if you can't think of him, he's probably not any better than Nathaniel.
That's
Lowe.
true.
So
that's probably true.
Anyway, that's kind of our thinking.
But I love plucking anybody from the Rays because they're honestly they develop talent.
Well, that's where they got Nathaniel Lowe.
That's exactly where they got Nathaniel Lowe. But there's some good people that have come out of the Rays organization who have not been bad at all.
Right, but it's
so I think Nate's going to be here. So they still got to find a bat, right?
You would think. I mean, they're looking at. I'm texting Mark, our guest, the link.
Yeah.
Anyway,
by the way, guys, Marc Church is joining us. Texas Rangers right-hand pitcher Marc Church. He's been on the big league team. He's been in the Arizona Fall League, and he's going to be joining us here in just a second.
I forgot to text him before the show started. So, but they do want to. They want to get an outfield bat, and so somebody like Michael Conforto, Jock Peterson.
Jock Peterson is someone I like.
Yeah, interesting guy is Mike Yastrzemski, who's a potential non-tender candidate for the Giants.
Because he's supposed to make like 13 or something.
So you could see a trade for today for Mike Yastrzemski, or if he gets non-tendered, then hey, he becomes a free agent and the Rangers can look at him there. He plays center field.
He's 31 or 32.
Yeah, he's a kind of a late bloomer.
He was.
But he could play center field. There's some options there.
More than anything, that would mean the most important part of him being here is that there is a chance that Carl Yastrzemski would be somewhere around the field. We might get to actually meet him.
Yeah, well, TR might be here. Carl Yastrzemski is TR's favorite player ever. So you might see some TR Sullivan at the ballpark just hanging around.
If you're a baseball nerd, you know the name Carl Yastrzemski. Yes.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer.
Oh my God.
Won the Triple Crown.
So I think he finished his playing days when I was very young, and I don't really remember it.
He played into the 80s.
Did he really? Yeah. Okay, so then I was still young, but I was. Right. Then I'm more of a teenager into that because I seem to remember him. I saw in person Hank Aaron play. So I saw Hank Aaron play against the Texas Rangers at the old Arlington Stadium. So I just remember my dad telling me, "You're seeing history."
Yeah.
And he would walk out there, but he waddled out. He was so old, and he wore that helmet with no ear flap.
Right.
And all he did was DH for the Milwaukee Brewers. And he hit number seven, whatever it was. He had already broke the record, obviously.
Yeah.
He was on the last days, but he hit one in Arlington.
That's cool.
And so I think it was 755 or 751 or something like that.
Yeah.
I looked it up one time because my dad telling me. So I think I was there when he hit one. Back then, though, they just clattered around. There was nobody out there. Anyway, so Yastrzemski, TR would be.
He'd be over the moon.
He'd be over the moon coming over here.
So anyway, they're going to add a bat. I'd imagine they'd add another one. They still need to get a backup catcher, as we've discussed. So,
right.
We'll see what happens. But the latest in the endless line of off-season deadlines in Major League Baseball. Excuse me. The non-tender deadline is tonight. So there you have it.
We got free agencies too. I want to talk about it. We don't know when he's coming on, but we can come to it. One thing I want to talk about is now it looks like Sasaki is going to be a 2025. They're going to push it out to where it's going to be someone's going to blow their entire budget on Sasaki. Maybe $7 to $10 million he'll probably get.
I would think so. Teams still need to sign these international players.
Sure, absolutely. They've got commitments to a lot of them.
Yes,
and some of them are going to get screwed in the deal.
Exactly. Yeah. That's going to be the very unfortunate thing is that there will be a lot of players in the Dominican
that already have
not a lot, but there'll be let's say up to 5 on one team that has these has some big agreements,
a couple $1 million,
that are going to either have to scramble to get a deal or maybe they I think they call it reclassifying in the U.S. I guess they do it down there too, but they could wait until the next signing period. But it's a bad deal. I think MLB has to come up with a way to make exceptions on a player of Sasaki's caliber.
Separated, say, hey, you got this much money to do it, and you can go to any team, and this is where they'll cap you right here.
Yeah, and then give the Japanese team a little bit more too.
Sure.
But so
that deal can be made.
Anyway, Sasaki will be posted after December 2nd, because then they have 45 days to sign. He has 45 days to sign once he is posted, and the international period opens on January 15th. So, ideally, whichever team ends up getting him wants to have the deal done in advance of the actual international signing day, so that they can decide whether or not to take, say, hey, can negotiate with them. Don't take all of our money, because we need to sign a couple of these guys that we have agreements with,
and we'll get you,
and there'll be an understanding that he'll be taken care of on the back end.
Yeah, well, we're not going to. Look, listen, I don't care what anyone says. This is going to come down to where he wants to play. It is not about money. It is going to be where he wants to play. He's going to get endorsement deals from Japan that are going to be amazing. That's why Ohtani deferred all of his money. Yeah. He still made $30 million or something like that just in endorsement deals alone with what he did. By the way, he was, a unanimous MVP again. Yeah. third year in a row. And so congratulations to him and to
Aaron
Judge, who won it last night. And I'm still I've got a burr in my saddle over the fact that Wyatt Langford wasn't a top 3. And that's I'm sorry.
He wasn't top 5.
He wasn't top, and it's inexcusable. Hey, listen, I want to talk more about that. Marc Church is joining us right now, and he's getting himself set up. Once he gets set, I'll pull him in here. He stepped away from his camera, but we're gonna get Mark on in just a second. But I do want to get into that too, about that, and I want to talk about some other free agent names and who they're visiting with. But let's pull him in. There he is,
Marc Church.
It's Marc Church, guys. What are you doing, man?
I just got back to Georgia on last Sunday, so I've been enjoying my 1 week off that I get.
Okay, guys, you see him there joining us now. It's Texas Rangers right-hand pitcher Marc Church, who just finished playing in the Arizona Fall League. So, Bud, we appreciate you stopping down. I know holidays are coming up. You got Thanksgiving next week, and then that. Are you going to be in Georgia the whole time?
Yeah, I'm going to be in Georgia the whole time.
Okay. So where you're in Atlanta proper, or are you right outside of Atlanta? Where are you?
So I'm actually right outside of Atlanta. I'm in Powder Springs. It's kind of close to Six Flags. So.
Oh, well, okay.
Okay.
Works for me. Yeah. So how are you doing? You're taking 1 week off. That's it.
Yeah, that's all I can get. In 2 weeks is December. So I kind of looked at the schedule after the fall league. I'm like, this offseason I'm not getting one. But it was good for me. It was good.
So the fall league, I guess they sent you there to catch up on innings because you missed so much of last year. But how did the experience go for you? I mean, you pitched really, really well.
I actually was throwing a splitter down the ball. It literally was disgusting. I think I got like 80% swing and miss throughout the whole fall league, and I think after my first outing, I didn't give up another run.
I saw the first outing you gave up a couple, right? And then
it was some cheap run. It was like the ball got stuck in my first baseman's glove, and they counted as a hit. He lost the ball. He was looking for it, and it was like in the back of his mitt. And
really,
they charged me for like 2 or 3 runs that day. And like once you give up 3 runs in the fall league, your ERA is just
right. There's no chance to recover. No chance to recover. Okay, so anyway, what were you saying? What was what pitches were working for you?
So I developed a splitter. So I was throwing it right on right. I think I was throwing my fastball maybe 2 or 3 times every at bat at most. But I was throwing the splitter at least twice every at bat. I was starting with a splitter right on right. I was throwing it right on right. I was throwing it right on left. And it gave me great results. It made my fastball play way better and just opened up the next thing that I need next year to be a successful big leaguer. So
Now, what's your velo on your fastball? Are you still sitting around triple digits?
It was like 98. I think I sat around 97. I touched a couple 99s throughout the fall league. I didn't hit 100 though, but
okay.
I was trying. But hopefully I get there next year to sit around like 98 to 100.
So what does a splitter do for you? So when you do it, does it tail? What does a splitter do for you?
So it's kind of like
that's different things for different people.
Yeah, honestly, it's like a splinter for me. So I think normal splitters are usually maybe like 10 off of the fastball velo. Mine was only maybe 6. So it was like 92 miles an hour. It was right in between a sinker and splitter. And the good thing about it is I could command it. So I didn't lose any life.
Important.
So it was really good. And they really wanted me to add a pitch that was just maybe not like a swing and miss pitch, but something that I can throw 15% of the time to get them off my slider and fastball. But by the second outing, I think I got like almost 7 swing and misses between 2 outings out of like 9 I threw. And we're like, all right, we might have something. So
okay, so I remember talking to you about the split finger 2 springs ago.
Yeah.
Because Evaldi kind of brought it with him and was showing everybody how to throw it. Like Cole Winn throws one now, you throw one now. And then you had Kirby Yates this year who throws one. And I know you didn't get to spend as much time with those guys as you'd want, but was there a lot? How much have they helped you with that pitch?
So honestly, the first person, my first spring training, I know you guys remember when Greg Maddox came in.
Yeah.
The first question I asked him was how he held his changeup. So he came to my bullpen the next day, and he told me that it'll probably be hard for me to throw a changeup out of my slot. And he recommended the splitter 2 years ago. And it's just I never really I kind of needed it in the minors, but I didn't want to mess up my numbers trying to work on something. I really kind of just wanted to get to the big leagues as fast as I can, so I didn't really use it to like kind of open my palate, which I should have looking back on it. But the fall league gave me that chance to, you know, work on that. And then after it was good by the first outing, and then I'm like, by the fourth outing, I'm like, okay, when am I gonna have a bad day with it? So even I think I had a bad day with it, like my sixth outing with it, and even with that, it just made my fastball and slider that'll always be my bread and butter that I can go to, and that's what I'm kind of looking for me. Yeah,
well, the Maddox brothers know a little bit about pitching. Yeah.
What do they?
So what? So okay, so you come up at the end of the season, you make your major league debut. I don't think you were expecting that, right? You had already gone home you were at home in Atlanta, weren't you, playing video games?
So they had a couple of us guys at the Texas squad.
That's right. You were in Arizona.
Right. And I was already getting ready for the fall league because the fall league started that following Tuesday. So I kind of was going through the motions in Arizona, like, we're getting ready for the fall league next week. I got like a 10-day break. I was throwing a couple of bullpens, really didn't expect anything. And then I get home Friday, looking forward to the weekend. We got Saturday and Sunday off, and then they called me. I'm in my dorm room playing video games. I missed like 6 calls. And then I answered the phone, and they're like, you're going to Anaheim tomorrow. So it was a blessing. I called my mom right away. They got their flights. Thank God they got their flights out of Atlanta. And so it was a beautiful experience.
Who called you?
Our minor league director, Josh Bonifay.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Wasn't a hurricane coming?
Yeah. So like a lot of flights out of Atlanta were just canceled and delayed. So it was crazy. I didn't know if they were going to be able to catch me, but they caught a flight. Thank God.
So what was the debut like?
It was crazy. So the first day, I was just nervous. That Friday, I was like, I hope I don't pitch this day. Like I'm looking up in the stands. I'm like, oh my gosh, like how am I going to pitch? And then the second day, it was like, all right, at least I got like one day to take it all in. Like I was ready the second day to pitch. And then when I got on that mound, everybody tells you like, don't look up. And that's the first thing I did. I look up. I'm just like, oh wow. I took it all in, and then after that, I think I threw like 2 balls. I got like laser focused that day. So,
now I remember that Friday, I get to the ballpark before anybody else, at least among the reporters, and I was looking out in the stands. I was like, and I don't see like I used to. I don't carry binoculars, and I was like, God dang it, I think that's Marc Church, because they hadn't announced anything. Yeah, and then I was like, I think that's Daniel Robert who was sitting out there, and sure enough, it was. So your parents saw the debut. You went down on the field, I'm guessing, took pictures and did all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That's so cool.
You know, and Dustin Harris made his debut. That
series. Yeah, they moved a bunch
that
of
game.
Yeah.
So, what a special deal, especially after your injury. So what happened?
So it was the second week of the season. I'm coming off a great spring. I almost made the team. And I knew I was going to be like called up maybe within the first couple months just because how the game goes. I kind of had a feeling I could taste that I was going to go up soon. So the second week, I threw almost like 16 innings in spring training. It was like the most across MLB. And that second week, it was my second outing of the year. I didn't feel anything in the game. I was taking an Uber back home, and I was like immediately sore. Huh. I was just like, I've never gotten sore 30 minutes after I threw. So I come in the next day, I couldn't even throw a ball. And I'm geez. Something might be wrong. So I gave it a couple of days of rest. And then I come back in like 4 days, try to throw again. I couldn't throw. So that's when they sent me to Arlington with Meister to go get an MRI. And luckily, I didn't have to have surgery, but it was a grade 2 lat strain. So it was kind of like right in my armpit.
Oh.
So when he gave me the news, he was like, "You'll probably be done for 16 weeks. You're looking at coming back in September."
Oh,
and I was just like, "No, that can't be right. Like, let's do the MRI over again. It can't be that bad." But yeah, so I think I came back. I ended up coming back 3 weeks early, the second week of August.
Right.
So I got almost the last 5 weeks of the season in AAA, and then the last 3 days in the big leagues.
So do you I mean, I'm sure your answer is going to be yes, but do you feel like you had enough innings to go ahead and not have any issues going into next season?
For sure. And it's crazy because like after the injury, I was throwing harder. My command was better. Like everything just, I think I needed that mental space to, grow and mature. Because like every year I kind of like went up pretty fast for me, especially like for me starting pitching as a senior in high school. Everything kind of happened really quick for me, and I had like a lot of success early. And that was like the first time I had to really go through something mentally. So I think that was like very good for me, like for the betterment of the rest of the career that I had to go through that.
Yeah. So the Rangers are going to need some relievers this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought you were going to make the roster last year, the opening day roster last year. It seems like they also are going to need some high leverage guys late in games. Is that your ultimate goal professionally? Is to, I don't know, be a closer, be what David Robertson was this year, big 8th inning guy. I'm guessing that's when you want to pitch.
For sure. And it's like every time I come into a close game, so we just had the championship of the fall league. And granted, it's the fall league, but like it really meant a lot to me. And just being in, they threw me in the championship game. We're down by 1, and I come in the 8th inning and I threw really well. And it was like that's what I live for. Like those close moments. It's like I kind of always live up to the moment. So I love those type of moments, and hopefully one day, if not soon, that I can be that guy. So I think this third pitch will allow me to really get the best out of me. So hopefully we'll see.
Well, I mean, if you were to go home and work out against your high school team, and I'd want to get those boys out. I don't care. You're a competitor.
That's adrenaline, man. That's
what you want.
Yeah.
But but look here. A couple years ago, I was talking to a Rangers official about you, and they're like, well, his fastball and slider are so good, we're thinking he could maybe start with the 2-pitch mix. And now you got this third pitch. Do you want to start? Would you, if they said, hey, why don't we try starting again? Are you happy in the bullpen?
It's so crazy because I told after like, it was like my 5th good game with the splitter. And I called my agent and told him, I said, I think I could start one day. He told me to slow down. Like, slow down for now. Let's try to stay healthy for a whole year. So and one day, we never know, but the game is moving guys who have success at their reliever role and keep their walk rates low to a starting role, which I plan to do next year. I have big goals for myself, just like the things I can control, like the walks per 9 and things that I really can't control. That's what I'm trying to limit next year. So hopefully one day we'll see.
It's also one of the things you said about 16 weeks when you got this, you feel this little thing back here and they say, 16 weeks. Let me tell you something. When you got an arm like yours and they know what they got, they're saying, you take your time. You know what? We want you back healthy and don't rush anything. But for someone like you, who is a competitor, you want to hear 2 weeks, and I'll be back there doing it. And that's why they're doing it, because of that. And I'm glad the splitter's working. That sounds fun.
Yeah. It sounds like spring training is going to be fun.
Yeah.
You get to work on it more. And then opening day is March 27th.
And if you get 16 innings like last spring training, you're going to really
maybe they slow it down this year.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we don't need to see him throw 16 innings. He's good. Have you ever pitched on back-to-back days?
So the first time I did it was actually like I think the 3rd week of the spring. I was throwing already back-to-back. So,
okay,
that's a good sign.
Like the first and only time that I did that.
Yeah, because they take care of relievers. They don't.
Even during the season, it was hard to see someone go more than 2 days in a row. They would try to sit a day. Some would, but I mean, when you're at the back end like that,
Yeah.
Especially, they're going to try to space it out, at least get you a day or a blow every couple of days if they can.
Yeah. All right. So I got Mark on the opening day roster. I've already said it. We have another podcast that we do. I've already declared that you're on the opening day roster. So you just got to hold up your end of the bargain.
You got to prove him right, man.
No pressure.
No pressure, Mark.
All right. So during your first appearance, you might remember that I asked the baseball questions. Then John will ask you some
just fun
stuff. So anyway, he's going to start asking you some lighter questions.
Yeah, but a couple of baseball questions.
Okay.
Who did you strike out? Who was your big league strikeout?
Cavadas for the Angels.
Who?
Cavadas.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right.
But I think he was the AFL Offensive Player of the Year. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Left-handed, lefty hitter. Yeah.
Was it swinging or was he looking?
It was swinging.
It was swinging.
Yeah,
were you up ahead of him, or what? Did you run it full? What'd you do? Do you remember?
I think I started with a slider. He looked at it, and then he fouled off a fastball up. I tried to get him with a fastball up and away. He watched it. It was 1-2, and then I got him with a slider away, back door.
Back door, and he went swinging at it. That's got to be awesome, man. Your first pick. For Jeff and I always say this all the time. We get to meet you guys when you're in the minor leagues, and we see you around. You're in Frisco. And so for us, without kids that are playing pro ball, it's like, this is one of our kids, man. He's going to be a big leaguer. So we know your mom and dad are proud, but we're proud of you too. Hey, we asked a lot of stuff about you last time, but so I'll just get into different things now. Anything you're streaming right now, or anything you're watching on Netflix, or anything any shows you're streaming?
So I'm about to start Lincoln Lawyer today. Like all of my friends watched it, and they told me to watch it. So I start that. I just finished Outer Banks. It's kind of like a kid show, but it was really good. So yeah, I got a lot of catching up this week.
Yeah,
we watched Lincoln Lawyer. My wife and I. She watches Outer Banks too.
Yeah,
but we watched The Diplomat, which is very good, and then what's Landman, which is a new show that came out.
That's a new one. That's
Billy Bob Thornton. That's hilarious.
I tell you one on Peacock that's just come out is The Jackal, or The Day of the Jackal, or something like that. Right. It's about an assassin. Hey, what's your favorite all time? Is there a show like you've streamed it 3 or 4 times? It's just your favorite show?
Prison Break.
That's a good one. I've heard a lot of people talk about that.
I've watched every season 3 times. I've watched it all together.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a good one. What's that on now? Is that on Netflix?
It was on Netflix this summer. That got me through all those rehab long days. Getting back at 1 p.m., having nothing to do for the rest of the day. I just turn on Prison Break.
So I always tell people to watch The Wire.
The Wire.
You ever watch that?
The Wire. It's fantastic.
It's
one of the best shows ever.
Maybe the best show ever, and it's really good. It's kind of dark because it's about the streets of Baltimore and the drug trade and the cops, but it's good.
It's great.
It's great. The acting in it's fantastic. I think that's on HBO Max or something.
It was an HBO show.
Yeah, so
you
got to find that.
You got to watch it. Okay, you're gonna love it.
So let's see I forgot where I was going to go. You got anything else for him?
Yeah, well, John always asks about like best dressed teammate and all that stuff.
Yeah. So, hey, if you're in a back alley with somebody and y'all are going to have to throw down, who's the teammate you want standing next to you?
I say bar fight White, Owen White.
We've heard that one. We've heard that one a couple times.
I saw him throughout the minor. I'd play with him every level. I've seen him start a couple brawls, or try to start some brawls at least. So,
man.
Hey, who's the funniest teammate you've ever had?
The funniest teammate. Cody Freeman. You guys know Cody Freeman?
Yeah.
Cody's
had him on a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
He's hilarious?
He's hilarious.
I think he told us he was kind of the one to...
Yeah, he voted for himself on the funniest teammate. So.
Yeah.
We need to give him a suggestion on a prank. You need to prank somebody. You ever prank each other?
Yeah, I remember coming up with Luis Angel Acuna.
Yeah.
He was the prankster. Like, he really didn't say many words, but he'll always come in. I remember one time he came in Lowe with, like, some fart spray. And he kept spraying it, and we were like, wondering, like, the whole week who was spraying it. And we finally caught him. We're like, oh, my gosh, this dude. Yeah.
I've seen some videos. It must stink so bad to do that.
So bad.
Yeah, but you're right. He's always a quiet guy.
Yeah,
he's like the complete opposite of his brother.
Never expected.
Yeah, his brother was like, flamboyant, wears the big chain, is out there. Obviously, he's a great player, but yeah, Luis Angel is a nice, quiet kid who likes to prank guys with fart spray.
That's pretty nice. A big leaguer with the Mets, and like Marc Church, who's going to make the opening day roster.
That's right.
Because you've already predicted it.
Yeah.
So I might have to back you. I'll put him on my opening day roster too. Hey, Mark, listen, we know that you've got a busy pitch. You've had the fall league. You're just getting back home and taking time to be with us. We're going to get you on again. We're going to see you in spring training and all of that. You got anything else for him?
So you're going to start throwing, December 1?
Nah, I have to start.
Not throwing, but working out again.
Yeah, I start working out next week. So Monday I get going, maybe 3 times a week of throwing and working out 4 days a week. So
but just not bullpens though, or
bullpen. I probably won't start bullpens until the second week of January.
Okay. Is Thanksgiving a big deal at your family?
Yeah, so we're trying to decide whose house we're going to have it over. We're either going to have it over my house or my brother's. So what
are you going to make?
Yeah, what do you make?
I always pick up the cake from somewhere, and I always joke around and say I cooked it. So,
so this is a good question. What's your favorite Thanksgiving food? Side dish, main course,
I say mac and cheese. My mom makes good mac and cheese and dressing.
Dressing's good. Dressing. Now, does your dressing? There's some that put like raisins and stuff in theirs, or is yours just the dressing with what's in it?
Our dressing, it's like kind of like a cornbreadish type. It doesn't have any raisins though.
Yeah, keep those damn raisins out.
Keep raisins out of it. I wouldn't eat it.
It's like a fruit. It's like a salad with fruit.
Yeah,
I hate that stuff.
My dressing shouldn't be sweet.
Your dressing, no.
You throw some gravy on it along with your mashed potatoes and maybe a little bit of your turkey and ham.
Hey, did you work out at Tread last year?
No, but I was on the fence about doing that.
Okay,
but it's kind of far from me. It's in Charlotte, and I wanted to go in house if I wanted to do it. So I probably would have had to get a place in Charlotte, and I was like, So,
where are you working out in Atlanta?
So I got a coach, Marvin Freeman.
Oh yeah, Marvin Freeman.
Coach since senior year. So every time I have an outing, I send it to him, and he gets me right every time. So
okay,
he actually told me to start throwing. I think everybody told me to start throwing the splitter maybe 2 years ago, and
you're hard-headed.
I was definitely hard-headed. Should have listened.
Well, who will you work out with besides Marvin Freeman? Any other players? Kamar's in your area, close to you, isn't he?
We got a great group. I work out with Lawrence Butler for the A's.
Oh yeah,
I was just with him like 4 days out this week. Mike Harris with Lawrence with the A's. Mike Harris,
the Braves.
We got Tink Hintz, Marquise Grissom Jr.
Sure,
it's just like a whole lot of. It's probably about 15 of us. Taj Bradley with the Rays.
And y'all got an indoor facility, I guess y'all work out at?
Yeah. And then like the pitching wise, like all of us, there's like 6 of us. It's me, Taj Bradley, Tink Hintz, who just got added to the 40-man with the Cardinals. And then we just got like 7 guys, and everybody it's like a competitive thing from the first day of touch and field. So we'll probably throw touch and fields like the last week of December, and it's just all competitive mode, so it's fun.
Awesome. That's awesome. All right, now we'll let you go.
Yeah, get out of there. Hey, Mark, we're going to see you this spring. We're definitely going to get you on again during the season. It's always a lot of fun, especially after that success starts from your, when you're opening day and you're on this roster.
I'm looking forward to seeing the split. I
am. I want to see a couple of bullpens when we're there. We'll run into you in the spring. We'll definitely come up and say hello, but we appreciate you stopping down.
All right. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, Mark. Take care, buddy.
All right, guys. That's Marc Church right there. Thanks, Mark, for doing that.
See you.
All right. Hey, thanks, man. All right.
Oh, we're still going.
Yeah, we're still going. Yeah. So you wanted anyway? Marc Church, that was great, and we tried to get him on throughout the fall league.
Sure.
And,
yeah, he's been busy.
The time difference was big, and plus they have games.
Well,
and then one weekend his brother came in, so we're not going to make him not see his brother, but he was always willing to do it. It was just a matter of getting the time. But He's gonna be on the opening day roster.
That's what your prediction
He's
is.
gonna figure into a
late
inning mix.
He's gonna be a what do they call it? A leverage guy.
A leverage guy, and he may close at one point. So
especially if he's got a third pitch going now, that's interesting. That's really interesting. A splitter, and a guy that throws that hard. I mean, I know Evaldi's touching 97 to getting up there too, but he's had a splitter for years.
His splitter's a good, if his max velocity is 97, 98, his splitter is definitely under 90. So it's a pretty big difference. It's probably his changeup, whereas this is, I guess it's going to be Marc's changeup.
Yeah, he said it's about 6 or 7 lower, about 91, 92.
So, and Yates was probably 92, 93, then 86, 87 on the splitter. It's just how much it's going to move, and just a different look. Just
kudos to Marc.
Have these guys, awesome. They're when they're, let's say they're down in the count after 2 heaters, they can't just sit slider and think slider because, if he can throw a split and he's commanding it, all the better for him. So that's great. The Rangers do have a lot of bullpen needs.
Hey, it's great no matter what. I saw that during the weekly show this week that you guys had on Tony, who we've had on a few times. Bees came on the daily show, which was fantastic. These guys they have such busy seasons.
Yeah.
And when their off season gets here, it is easier for us to try to get them on during the off season. But you're taking time away from their time with their families when they're getting to spend their time with their families finally.
Yeah.
This is a time that they get to stop down and spend time with their families. And so we can't appreciate enough the fact that these guys do this.
Yeah.
And so it's why during the offseason, I'm always reaching out to some of the former players and stuff. And we're trying to get some guys that maybe want to jump on and talk some ball for a while. They hadn't done it in a while. By the way, got a confirmation here in a few weeks, guys. We are going to have Jim Callis back on. He's going to come on. He's already said, I'm good. Let's do it. So we'll probably wait till after the winter meetings.
Yeah. Let's see what happens with the Rule 5 guys and if the Rangers pick anybody up, as they frequently do. But so anyway, we haven't talked about this. The Rule 5 guys that the Rangers had at 3, Teodo Santos and Max Acosta, who might have been a little bit of a surprise, but he hit so well to finish the season.
He hit good in the fall league too.
Went crazy, and everybody knows how heavily the fall league is scouted. So.
And there are some teams. There's some teams that are looking for middle infielders.
Yeah,
and that could have been a cheap option to go. Hey, well, what if we take a flyer on this guy and get
Well, and from a Rangers perspective, having a 4th utility infielder on your roster, what does that allow you to try to maybe move somebody in a deal? Does Ezekiel Duran get moved?
Yeah,
because you still have John Ornelas, who doesn't hit great, but is probably the best defensive player on the team when he's in the game. And I know he had that 2-error game, but that's ridiculous.
Somebody's value that went way up this last year was Josh Smith. Is he somebody that brings something back that's positive? If when you have everyone healthy, Josh Smith is going to be looking for a place to play.
Well, he won the Silver Slugger at DH.
And absolutely, he did. Or utility. It was actually utility.
Utility. Yeah, I didn't mean DH. Sorry. But so do you want him to be your DH? If you need a DH and you think Josh Smith is going to play every day, he doesn't fit the DH profile. But he gets
he could play in the infield 3 days that week. He could play from second base to third, and give those guys a blow at DH too. I mean, there's a way to do it. A DH by committee.
Yeah,
get these guys off their feet some.
Right.
Even a day. They hate it. They don't like just batting. They would all rather be in the field, but it's not a bad idea to get those guys off their feet 1 day a week and just hit.
Sure.
And just to do it. But if, let's say, if you're not, and you've got other guys that could be close to it, no one's going to be what Josh Smith did. That maybe this is a one-off. Maybe it's the way he's going to be. Mm-hmm. We don't know, but his value is certainly high. And there might be someone that looks at Josh Smith that has something the Rangers want, that maybe Josh Smith could be my everyday second baseman.
He could be everyday shortstop. I mean,
absolutely he could. I don't know, but what we're saying is Max Acosta could be someone that could be a utility guy on a big league team, and you keep him for 1 year and he's gone.
Yeah.
And then he's still young, and then he develops into an everyday shortstop or second baseman once he gets some feet under him and gets going, but you have control of him after that year. I see why. There wasn't any doubt they were going to do it with the pitchers.
Yeah, I thought maybe Acker had a chance to get protected.
Someone to watch.
Just at this point, if Leiter and Rocker are going to be on your big league roster,
do you think they both make opening day roster?
No, they could. I don't know if they'll both be in the rotation.
No. I don't think.
But who then? What's your minor league depth? Well, Teodo, starting depth. Okay, Teodo.
Sure.
Dane Acker. Okay, what if Dane Acker gets selected? Who then? Now, do you say your depth is
Josh Stevens? You got
Cody Bradford, who's probably going to be on the big league roster, maybe in the rotation.
Right.
Dunning, Tyler Malley, John Gray, all these guys.
And they're still going to go out and probably sign Evaldi.
Sure,
we hope.
Sure,
and maybe Sasaki ends up. I don't know.
At that point, then you probably start trading from your depth a little bit. But
yep,
you always need more than 8 starters.
And with guys like you said earlier, we've got 3 starters on this team that probably aren't going to go 150 innings.
Yeah,
Tyler Malley being another one. We already talked about Rocker and DeGrom, but they're coming back from major Tommy John surgery. DeGrom can probably stretch it out more. This is a guy that's used to the grind that does that, but you're not going to push it.
And Malley may be able to stretch it out a little bit more.
But during the season, what they'll do is they're going to take a time during the season and go, by the way, you're shut down for 2 weeks, and we're just going to put you on the IL.
Yeah.
And it's all rest. It's like, we want to save your innings. We'll get some guys up here so you can be fresher going down the stretch, especially if they're winning.
Yeah.
Which we think they will be. So, yeah, you need a lot of depth.
Right. And if you're going to put Leiter and let's say Dunning are in your bullpen,
they'll make spot starts. They'll do,
but they won't be stretched out when you do need a starter. So then you're going to find yourself in a spot where you're going to have to, All
right, tell me this.
Okay,
who is the number one? I always used to play this game. Who is the first guy to make his major league debut in 2025? Debut. Now he's never been in the big leagues.
Yes. I'm trying to think of the. I'm gonna say, and it's because I'm kind of a homer. I'm gonna say Blaine Krim.
Blaine Krim. Okay, yeah, he's gonna get a look at some point and come up, and maybe even who knows? Maybe he has an unbelievable spring.
Blaine Krim 1, Teodo 2.
Okay,
just because
Teodo, who's I was thinking a spot starter that comes up at some point,
or if they need a bullpen arm and he has a great spring and he's popping 102 and commanding everything. And
yeah, he's gonna
maybe he makes the opening day roster like Marc Church is going to make the opening
like Marc Church is. And you know what? So we got to talk about some free agents that are out there. Have the Rangers? Do you know if they've even talked to Evaldi yet?
They've talked to Evaldi, yes. I know that they have.
Out on the table?
I don't know if there's an offer on the table, but they have. They've been in communication with them.
This is normal, but the Rangers have not their names are not being mentioned a lot
because they don't leak.
They don't leak anything,
right? And
so we know Ross well, and he's not going to tell us anything. So Chris
Young's not going to say anything.
No, Chris never does. But Ross talked to us.
They didn't say a lot. When John Daniels was the guy,
right?
And now it's gotten even tighter. Yeah. So anyway, I think.
Did we have? I mean,
I think everything's fine with Evaldi.
So this caught me off guard, but you tell me, because were you totally caught off guard when Corey Seager signed here, or when Semien signed here?
Oh yeah.
Did you know anything? And then all of a sudden, Semien
all of a sudden it hit the Twitter.
Okay, so that's how tight-lipped it gets. I mean, they just don't say a word.
And
then there were rumors that they're still going after Seager after that. So there was more of they think they're going after Seager too, and then it happened. But Semien kind of came out of left field.
It did. It was on a Saturday. It was on a Sunday. Anyway, I wasn't at my computer when it happened, and so we were kind of scrambling. But yeah, they just operate really, really behind the scenes. I don't know if they fear that a leak would, increase another team's bid or whatever it is. But I think that that's just the way he likes to roll. Like Jacob DeGrom came out of nowhere.
Yes, that did. I remember that one too.
Yeah.
Well, but you know what? I tell you who never comes out of nowhere, and that's a Boris client. He likes to let everybody know that.
Well, I mean,
but sometimes he starts rumors.
Semien is a Boris guy. That was nice and quiet. I mean, I think Seager's a Boris guy. So, this whole
you just slapped me down on that.
this whole Juan Soto thing is very out in the open.
It is. Who did I just see that? Was it the Pirates or somebody?
The Phillies, I think.
No. A small market team just asked to set up a meeting with him. And it's not the Rays. It was like the Pirates. I swear I just saw something. He's not going there.
No.
But whatever it was, I was like, really? And maybe it's just for show. They're just going to,
Yeah. We'll see. But
may not have been the Pirates, but it was someone smaller, like maybe the Reds or I don't know. I got to go find it.
Okay.
But I'll go back and look it up and tweet it out.
Okay. All right.
We're an hour. We're an hour into this thing.
Yeah.
So we're going to wind this thing down. Hey, guys, next week is Thanksgiving. We're not going to do a show. You can do some weekly shows Monday and Tuesday?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday.
And Friday you're going to do.
Yep.
I'll be out of town by then. We're going to head out to go see the family. So, hey, the daily show is going to be there. If you guys go over to, DLLS_sports is for all the DLLS daily shows. Go see that. Of course, you got us right here for the weekly show that's going to stay going all season long. And I appreciate DLLS doing that and keeping me on board to do this at least. This is still fun every week. We got our guys and doing that. Guys, have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Really enjoy it. Be careful on the holidays if you're traveling. That's more important than anything. We appreciate and love you guys. By the way, my guy who is son's the quarterback playing tonight, he's a big fan of ours.
Oh, good.
So he had his older son come in and was like really glad to meet me because he was meeting somebody that gets to deal with the Rangers, and I knew you and go on with that. So good luck to Richardson Eagles tonight. Let's go out and take down the Allen Eagles. Guys, for Marc Church, Jeff Wilson, I'm John Moore, and until 2 weeks from now, we'll see you at the yard.